Everybody loves a good deal, no matter what the deal is on. I can't tell you how many times my wife has come home from Kohl's and said, we saved $183. No, we didn't. We spent $195, but thanks for the math lesson. No matter what the deal is, if you can get it, a lot of times you take it. And that's true in college football, too, on one aspect. Coaches don't like deals. They don't like to know that they probably could or should be getting paid more money. And damn it, when they find that out, they want more. That's their prerogative. USA Today has listed the top 5 best bang for their buck coaches in America. The coaches that are underpaid the most for what they produce. And the top one, I don't think is really all that shocking in that it's Indiana's Curt Cignetti. Because I think you would be shocked maybe to find out that Indiana is paying their head coach $8.3 million a year, which is maybe more shocking, 6th in the Big Ten. He is the 6th highest paid coach in the conference, and yet is viewed as, my words, not theirs, the best value as a head coach, because even though he's only been there a year and working on a half, what he has produced for Indiana has been unprecedented. Literally, last year was the 124th year of football in Indiana, and it was the best team they had ever had. The best record, the best rankings, etc. One of 124. And Curt Cignetti was at the top of that list. Other coaches who are on the list, by the way, Brent Key, who makes $4.5 million a year. The idea that Georgia Tech's head coach makes half as much as Indiana's is wild. He is 52nd in the country. Eric Morris at North Texas was also on the list, $1.4 million, which is probably why he's going to be a hot name in Big 12 and SEC coaching opportunities during the offseason, because $1.4 million to, if you're getting 8.3 at Indiana, I'm sorry, it's just such a wild number. Mike Elko at Texas A&M, $7 million. The Aggies, I told you coming into the season, we're going to make the college football playoff, undefeated, probably going to make the college football playoff. And then Matt Campbell is on the list as well. He's $5 million per year at Iowa State and is 8th in the Big 12. And Iowa State is 5-1 this year. He's 69-52 in his career as the head coach at Iowa State. But going back to Curt Cignetti, Indiana has a prime opportunity this weekend to super solidify itself in the college football playoff race, because they've got the chance to play the Oregon Ducks. And I find that situation really interesting, and to look at it with a magnifying glass, because I don't think it's all that crazy to argue last year that Indiana got into the college football playoff without really having much of a resume other than we won a lot of games and we're in the Big Ten. That was it. They didn't win many impressive contests. They didn't. The best thing on their resume was lost to Ohio State. And when that's the best thing on your resume, you don't have a great resume. Now, I'm here to tell you that they're kind of set up to be in a similar situation this year when you are putting together the IU college football playoff resume, because I wouldn't feel strongly going into this weekend that they feel like they're going to beat Oregon, because I don't think that there are many schools who should feel like that they're going into a game and they're going to beat Oregon. The Ducks are good. Are they potentially overranked? Maybe just a little. But Dante Moore, he's played really well at quarterback. They went to Happy Valley and beat the Nittany Lions that started their college football playoff downfall. Oregon, undeniably, is good. And so is Indiana. Fernando Mendoza has played exceptional football for the Hoosiers after transferring over from Cal. He has been outstanding. But like I said, they're 5-0, And they have employed a scheduling strategy of, if we have a lot of wins in our resume, because we're in the Big Ten, we're going to make the college football playoff. And you know what? They have exploited it. That's a good strategy to have had. They have a win over Illinois, but Illinois has to continue winning to justify, and not just a win, by the way. They beat the piss out of the Illini. But Illinois has to hold up their end of the bargain. They can't just lay an egg the rest of the year and IU go, oh, well, we beat Illinois when they were number 9, because if Illinois finishes 6-6, nobody cares that they were the number 9 team when they played them. But outside of that, this is really kind of the last great hurrah for the Hoosiers. They play at Penn State in November, but other than that, their schedule is built with Michigan State, UCLA, Maryland, Wisconsin, Purdue. So I think you might be staring a carbon copy of last year, when perhaps the best thing on the Hoosiers resume is lost at Oregon. And when your coach is viewed as this great value because he only costs $8.3 million a season, at some point, I think one of those big wins, and it's the same conversation we have with Penn State when it comes to James Franklin, at some point, you got to win one of those games to be like, oh, hey, welcome to the big time, or you deserve your spot on the block. Whether that's fair or unfair, I don't know. But I do think the idea that you might backdoor yourself into the college football playoff for a second straight year with the best thing on your resume is we lost to one of the best teams in the country doesn't feel like it should instill a lot of confidence that you are really on the same playing field as Oregon, as Ohio State, as everybody else who's going to make the college football playoff. Because I think you can look past it in the first year of the college football playoff. You can get that kind of, you can sneak in the back door, so to speak, and find your way into the field. And nobody's really had much to juxtapose this result compared to that result or whatever. But I'm here to tell you, if it happens a second time where Indiana finds themselves in that field of 12, and I can't denigrate Curt Cignetti, by the way. He's done a fantastic job there at IU. A lot of people dislike him because he is cocky, because he is brash, braggadocious, just coarse. I tend to somewhat like it because, and this is hypocritical, he somewhat backs it up. When he said, I win, Google me, winning 11 games at Indiana kind of gets you to you should get to say whatever the hell you want, because Indiana's a program that over the course of 4 years at times didn't win 11 games. And so to do it in a season, in your first season, is impressive. And for the second consecutive season, Indiana has put together a pretty good offense and a relatively okay defense. They have been better at the quarterback position in the first 2 years of Curt Cignetti's tenure than Iowa has been since 2012, since Wisconsin has been since 2012. Like, there are some good, they have good players, and they have produced and had high production from that position in the first 2 years of his tenure. That should give IU fans a lot of faith and hope that the future looks insanely bright, with the caveat of however long Curt Cignetti is there, because while you're making $8.3 million at IU, that means Florida would probably pay you 12 or 13. Neither here nor there. I'm here to tell you that if Indiana backdoors themselves into the college football playoff again by the best thing on their resume being a top 5 loss, there's going to be changes to the formula. And I don't think changes to the formula and the way the playoff is put together year after year after year is a good thing for the sport. But there are just some things that the SEC is not going to allow. And by God, Indiana making the college football playoff 2 years in a row with potentially 11-1 records, or hell, even 10-2. And let's say they lose to Oregon and Penn State. They're going to have the same argument of Notre Dame of, yeah, but you sure we didn't beat anybody, but our 2 losses is real good. And what are you going to say to that? Put in a 9-3 team above it? The hell you are. And so I think Indiana is about to show, like, hey, there are faults in the college football playoff system, and all of this is a moot point if they win. I just think going to Autzen and pulling out a win against a team that is one of the top, is ranked third, is probably one of the top 5 teams in the country, doesn't feel super likely. But if it does, I'll be the first one to tell you on Sunday, hey, I got that one wrong, and go Hoosiers, because they will have earned their way into the college football playoff, and will have earned that spot on Kurt Cignetti being the most underpaid coach in America. Because if they are still undefeated after this weekend, he absolutely unequivocally has earned that moniker. That'll do it for today's episode of the Daily Huddle. Appreciate you making us a part of your day, however it is, wherever it is you're doing so. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're getting all the great college football content we're pumping out. If you are listening on the podcast feed, drop a 5-star review. It goes a long way in helping out the channel. I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of the Daily Huddle.